In the last lesson, we talked about suffixes. Well, today we're going to talk about how to add the suffixes to words. Go ahead and take out your English notes. Let's go ahead and write today's date. Today we're going to talk about adding suffixes. Okay, so our goal for this lesson is to add suffixes to words using correct spelling. I don't see any vocabulary words. Okay. So not only do we need to know which suffix to add, we need to know the spelling rules. Okay? So here we go. First, let's talk about words ending in Y. Ending in Y. Now, these rules you've already learned. You've learned them in 4th grade, all through junior high. So this should not be new. This should just be review. Okay? Whenever you have a word ending in Y, you have to look at the letter that's before the Y. If it's a vowel, add the suffix without changing the Y. Okay? Okay. So if it has a vowel, well, wait a minute. Maybe that would be the best way to write it, actually. Vowel before. There's a vowel before the Y. You don't have to change anything. Just add the suffix. Add the suffix. Okay, that sounds easy enough, right? Like if I have the word by, I can add ing. Look, there's a vowel before the Y, so all I have to do is add ing. Okay? Okay. Now, if there's a consonant before it, consonant before the Y, you have to change the Y to I. Change, see, you know that. You've been taught that before. Change Y to I. And add, oh. Then you can add the suffix. Okay? For example, if I have the word holy, we'll put this in parentheses. If I have the word holy, the letter before the Y is an L. L is a consonant. So I have to put H-O-L. I have to change my Y to an I before I can add ER. Okay? Okay, so if we have a word that ends in a Y, and we want to add a suffix to it, we look at the letter before the Y. If it's a vowel, we just add the suffix. We don't have to change it. If it's a consonant, if there's a consonant before the Y, like this L, then you have to change the Y to I, and then add the suffix. Okay? And of course, there's exceptions with every rule. Okay? Okay. Let's talk about the words ending in IE. Okay, here we go. ending in IE. Okay. When a word ends in IE, you have to change the IE to a Y. Okay? Change IE to Y. When adding ING. Okay? For example, tie. Okay, tie is TIE. But I want to say I'm tying my shoes. Okay? So I have to change the IE to a Y. So it's going to be T, but instead of the IE, I'm going to put a Y, then add ING. Okay? Now there's an exception because there's two different ways to spell die, right? Die is DIE, and it follows the same rule. If I say the plant is dying, I change the IE to Y, then add ING. Okay, it follows the rules. But if I say I'm dyeing my clothes, that's DYE. Okay? This doesn't end in IE in the first place. Right? So this has nothing to do with this rule. Right? But some people get confused. This doesn't end in IE, so this isn't going to follow this rule anyway. But just so you know, dyeing, you would just add the ING if you mean you're dyeing your clothes. Okay, words ending in silent E. See, I think this would be a word ending in silent E. Okay. Let's talk about ending in silent E. Okay. If the suffix begins with a vowel, is added to a word ending with a silent E preceded by a consonant, the final E is dropped. Okay. Okay. If the suffix begins with a vowel, suffix begins with a vowel and the silent E is preceded by a consonant. And a consonant is before the E. Okay, we said words ending in IE, we change IE to Y when adding ING. Okay, we changed IE to Y and added ING. We're talking about words ending in silent E. We said that the suffix begins with a vowel and a consonant is before the E, we just drop the E. Drop the E. For example, this word let's see, advise, advise. There's a consonant before the E, and I want to add able to it. I'm just going to drop this E. So it's going to be advisable. Okay. If the suffix begins with a consonant, then we keep the E. So if the suffix begins with a consonant, just add the suffix. Add the suffix. Because if you have two vowels beside each other, they form a blend, right? Okay. If the silent E is preceded by a vowel, the final E is usually dropped. Okay. If there's a vowel before the E, then drop the E. Okay. And we know this rule has several exceptions. If there's a vowel before the E, even if it's two E's, you're going to drop one of the E's. If the ending ends in or begins in E. Okay? So we're talking about what to do if the word ends in a silent E. We said if the suffix begins with a consonant, just add the suffix. If there's a vowel before the E, drop the E. Okay, if it ends in double E, the only time you do anything is if the suffix starts with an E. If the suffix starts with E, then drop the E. Drop one of the E's. So you don't have three E's in a row. Like, if I have agree, that ends in two E's. If I want to say agreed, I want to add ED. I'm just going to, because we don't want three E's here. Okay? Okay. Alright, here we go. When adding a suffix beginning with a vowel to a word ending in a consonant, double the final consonant. Okay. So, if we have a word that ends in a consonant, okay, When adding a suffix beginning with a vowel to a word ending in a consonant, double the final consonant. Okay, so if the suffix begins with a vowel, suffix begins with a vowel, then you're going to double the consonant. For example, bat. If I want to say batter, I'm going to have to double the T before I add the ER. Okay? Alright. When adding suffixes to words ending in a consonant, okay, if it ends in a consonant, if the word contains only one syllable and the final consonant is preceded by more than one vowel, don't double the consonant. Okay. Don't double consonants if the consonant is preceded by more than one vowel. So if there's more than one vowel, before the consonant, such as snoop. If I want to say he's snooping, I want to add ing. Since there's more than one vowel before the P, I'm not going to double it. I'm just going to add the ing. Okay? Okay, now, if the word is more than one syllable and the accent is not on the last syllable, we're not going to drop it either. So, if the accent doesn't fall on the last syllable, then again we're not going to double the consonant. For example, if I have the word differ, D-I-F-F-E-R. Okay, differ. It's a consonant, has a vowel before it, but differ. The accent's on the first syllable, so I'm not going to double the R. Like if I add E-N-C-E for difference, I'm not going to double the R because the accent was on the first syllable. Okay? So we don't double the final consonant if there's more than one vowel before it, like snooping, or if the accent doesn't fall on the last syllable. We also don't double the consonant if the suffix begins with a consonant. Suffix begins with a consonant. Okay? For example, pig. I want to add mint to it. Whoa. Since mint starts with an M, I'm not going to double the G, pigment. Okay? All right. As far as ABLE and IBLE, you're just going to have to memorize those. There's no rhyme or reason why you would add an A or an I. Okay? But the most common ending is ABLE. That doesn't mean it's going to be all the time, but if you have to guess A. ABLE is more common than IBLE. Okay. If a word is complete or nearly complete before the suffix is added, IZE is usually correct. So if we have the word, if you're trying to figure out whether to use the IZE or the ISE, it's usually IZE, but again, you just have to memorize them. So I don't want to put a rule here that you're going to find out doesn't really work all the time. And there are some words that can use IZE and ISE. Either way is correct. So, alright, I want you to go through, study your notes, let me see your notes, and you can go ahead and answer the questions.